We got a report that Myles Turner is a target for the Los Angeles Clippers, that the Clippers are interested in trading for Myles Turner. I did a whole video breaking it down. I'll link that video down in the description below. Go check it out after this video. The reason I'm bringing up Myles Turner to the Clippers again is because he's a player that the Lakers have been targeting for some time. The Lakers had a deal locked up, ready to go, and we're actually going to do the deal of Russell Westbrook, 2 first-round picks for Buddy Hield and Myles Turner right before media day, like literally the night before media day. Decided not to. They wanted to see what would happen into the season. And there's a lot of thoughts that, hey, Lakers want to wait and see what do they look like fully healthy. Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant are supposed to come back. If they come back and we look good, maybe we can go and target some actual pieces that we need, right? Like, why go get Myles Turner if, Thomas Bryant comes in and he can be our sort of Myles Turner light, right? And he's free. Then we can use our assets to go and target like a wing player or maybe do the Spurs deal or something along those lines, right? But now that the Clippers have sort of thrown their name into the hat, it sort of adds that added pressure to the Lakers to get the deal done. Because up until this point, nobody's really been interested in trying to trade for Myles Turner. And that doesn't necessarily mean the Clippers have anything that the Pacers are looking for, where at least the Lakers have expiring deals. So it's just kind of like a swap and they get some assets. But maybe they admire some of the younger guys that the Clippers have, like a Terrence Mann, something like that, Luke Kennard, something along those lines. And that could really add some real pressure to the Lakers to get the deal done, because they look at it as like, hey, we might lose Myles Turner and Buddy Hield. Do we want to just get the deal done, right? Well, now we have something extremely, extremely interesting. Now, I don't necessarily think this is confirmation, so take this as you may. But this is pretty telling that we might be having a trade coming like within the next day or two. So what we have here is a sign that says Indianapolis, Indiana, right, where the Pacers play. And Rob Pelinka is on a plane. He should already be in Indiana by this point. He jumped on a plane to go to Indiana for some reason. What that is, we don't know. We don't know for certain, right? Maybe he's going to go do something. He wouldn't be go scouting players, because that's what you have a scout department for, right? I mean, maybe he wants to go check something out. Maybe he wanted to go see Myles Turner and Buddy Hield. Maybe he just kind of wants to see what they look like before he makes a trade for them. I don't know. That could be something. But it has a lot of people really suspicious that the Lakers are getting close to pulling a deal off for Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. Also, to add even further fuel to the fire for those that are like, well, Rob Pelinka could be going to Indiana for anything. Maybe he is. Maybe he has an emergency. Maybe, maybe it's a personal thing. Although he's all dolled up in his Laker gear and stuff, like he looks like he's going there for Laker business. Granted, maybe it's for something else. I don't know why else your GM would be going to a specific place, especially Indiana, right? I mean, you have him. The Pacers are like a huge thing. It's definitely very suspicious. But to add even more fuel to the fire, Buddy Hield, or Buddy Loved, posted this shortly after and said, "Ayo," and then with the eyes looking. We've already seen Myles Turner say, "Hey, come trade for us. Come trade for me specifically." Like, he basically said, "Come get me." And now there's the added pressure of the Clippers. And Rob Pelinka's jumping on a plane to, Indiana. It's pretty interesting. Why else would your GM be jumping on a plane? Like, if you're going to go look at a player or go scout a player or do something like that, you're usually sending your scouting department and your team. You have a team that does that. And then they say, hey, yeah, like, we need to get this guy. We need to have this guy come take a look for us, something like that. It's a very interesting sign. And it adds even, like, because literally, like, 10 minutes after the images of Rob Pelinka, Buddy Hield posts this. So it's just interesting timing, right? Maybe it's nothing, but the Lakers, Buddy Hield and Myles Turner have been the talk of the town for some time. And maybe they're finally looking at it as like, hey, we can't play around. We're getting Dennis Schroeder and Thomas Bryant back. Russ has been great for us, but we have these 4 days. let's go get Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. That gives us time to kind of, get everybody, some cohesiveness, get a couple practices before you end up playing in the first game against Detroit. It's something that could happen, but it's a lot of coincidences. I mean, you get the report of the Lakers, of the Clippers wanting Myles Turner, right? And it's a big story, big news, all that stuff. A lot of Laker fans are really concerned that, like, hey, the Clippers are going to go get Myles Turner, right? And then the same day, like literally hours later, you see Rob Pelinka jump on a plane to go to Indianapolis to go do what? And then you see Buddy Hield say, hey, like, ayo, like with the big eyes. I don't know. It is a very interesting thing. I don't know. I look, if it happens, like I've always said, I'm not against it happening. I have my concerns, absolutely. I have a lot of concerns, and like I've said, so many comments and stuff that I see, it's always like, oh, what could this be? This could be this. This could be this. And it's like, yes, I understand that, and I completely agree. It could go great. It could be fantastic. It could be the best fit ever, and the Lakers are legit contenders. Maybe we win the championship this year, and all is right in the world, right? We have a full turnaround. Boom, beautiful. We're off to the races. Yes, can that happen? Absolutely. But there are also a lot of other concerns that we have to keep in mind, such as, Myles Turner's health concerns, Myles Turner's fit next to Anthony Davis, because Myles Turner has had trouble fitting next to other bigs before. Granted, a lot of it, he was playing power forward. He wants to play center. He's more of a natural center. Maybe him and Anthony Davis can gel well. Problem is with Anthony Davis, though, he's not hitting his shots this year. The difference between this year and the bubble year when he played power forward is Anthony Davis he couldn't miss. The dude was shooting at an elite level, especially come bubble time. That dude was lights out from three-point range, from mid-range, from you name it. So it made it easy for Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee to play and bang down low. But if Anthony Davis, if he's got to play, and at the basket the entire game, it kind of makes it a little redundant. I mean, you could still make it work because Myles Turner could really stretch the floor. But look, I've never been against the deal. I just think the Spurs deal opens the door for more potential. So I've liked the Spurs deal. And look, I wasn't a fan of the Spurs deal at all in the beginning. From day, like one of my first videos, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this deal. But the more I've seen it, the more I've looked into it, the more I've actually done like my homework, the more the Spurs deal seems like the best deal, because you're getting several players, but more than just the players, you're getting the trade exception, which basically can translate to another one or two players, which would essentially give you a full roster rehaul, right? So that's why I like the Spurs deal so much. But the Pacers deal, I don't mind the Pacers deal. I definitely think it makes us better. I just don't know how much better it makes us. And, especially Rob Pelinka, he has to look at the total package. Like us as fans, we can look at the positive, the upside, and the promise, right? Like that's what we can look at. But as a GM, your job is to weigh the pros and the cons. And that's why usually when I'm doing these videos and I'm talking about, certain deals, I'm like, here are the negatives too. Here are the cons, because you have to be prepared. Because I want people to understand, like, this is probably how Rob Pelinka's looking at it too. Like, if I do this deal, that's it. Like Rob Pelinka himself has said, I got one shot at this. One shot. That is it. And if you do the Buddy Hield and Myles Turner deal and it doesn't work, the Lakers are screwed for the next, at least 2, if not longer years. Because Buddy Hield, there's all your salary cap. There's all of your salary space. Myles Turner, he wants $20+ million a year. And if he doesn't, as soon as you trade for him, you got to get him an extension immediately. Because you don't want to run the risk of him leaving in the offseason and you just traded all your assets for him. So now you basically are forced to pay Myles Turner whatever he wants. Now, does that mean that Myles Turner won't, settle on a smaller deal? Maybe. Maybe Myles Turner will take $18 million a year or something like that, or $20 million. Or maybe we can get him for 4 years, $80 million, right? Maybe, because he's just in LA, he's happy, he's in a place he wants to be. Maybe he will do that. But if he says, like, no, I want $30 million a year, you have to give him $30 million a year because you just traded everything for the guy. So now you're paying him $30 million a year. And if he doesn't work or he can't stay healthy, you're in big trouble if you're the Lakers. Because now you got $30 million tied into this guy and you have no way to get off of him. Right? I mean, desperate trades can result in, serious side effects. Look at Timothy Mozgov and Luol Deng. It's a perfect example. Right? Now, granted, I think Buddy Hield and Myles Turner are much better than Luol Deng and Timothy Mozgov, but the point is that trade was Mitch Kupchak trying to save his job and just trying to stay relevant as a Laker and overpaid for two players he never should have even looked at. And we just got done paying Luol Deng. And that's what I don't want to see happen. I don't want to end up seeing a deal that doesn't work. Now, the upside to this deal is great. If it works, I think the Lakers are going to be very good and very scary. And I'm all for it, right? I'm a Lakers channel. I love the Lakers. I'm diehard Lakers. But I feel like I have a responsibility as a content creator to weigh both sides of everything. I can't just only bring up what could be and not what could, negatively be. I just want everyone to understand both sides to the equation. But if the Lakers end up doing this deal and Rob Pelinka really is in at the Pacers facility, meeting with the GM, talking and working out a deal, and he's not leaving until he gets a deal done, I mean, I'd be all for it. Hopefully, in a perfect world, hopefully it's not for both firsts. Hopefully it's for like one first, pick swap, and a couple seconds. That would be ideal. Hopefully we could save one first, because if we get Buddy Hield and Myles Turner, I would ideally, in a perfect world, you save one of those firsts, and then you take that first and you go and get another piece or two, and now we're a legit contender. I would love that. But in reality, you're probably giving up both firsts. Probably Russell Westbrook and both firsts, Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. And then, you got Dennis Schroeder coming back. You got Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn. My problem is Kendrick Nunn's basically been unplayable for us. Patrick Beverley's been solid on the defensive end, but he's been terrible on the offensive end. Although Buddy Hield is now going to be your starting shooting guard if this happens, right? Your starting five is probably Schroeder. No, I imagine you got to play Walker. So probably LeBron, Buddy, Walker, Davis, and Turner I would imagine would be our starting five, because Walker's been too good for you to not play him in the starting five, especially defensively. I mean, he's guarding the best player on the other team every night and giving you, 16, 17 points a game. So that would, my guess would that would be the starting five. It would be Walker, Buddy Hield, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Myles Turner would be your starting five, which is a pretty good starting five, right? And then you'd have Dennis Schroeder, probably Patrick Beverley, Austin Reeves. You have Troy Brown. You have several guys coming off the bench. Thomas Bryant as your backup center. Winning Gabriel as your backup power forward. Now you're about 10 guys deep. Now you might be able to turn it around. But I would still like to try to find a deal to take Kendrick Nunn, and especially if you're going to have LeBron play point guard in the starting lineup, right? Like, there's no point in having Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley at that point. I mean, maybe you can make the argument Patrick Beverley, for a locker room guy, but I don't know. I would rather, I just feel if you go for Buddy Hield and Myles Turner, at that point you might as well go all in, right? Because there's all your salary cap, there's everything. At this point, you're all in. All your chips are pushed to the table. So if it was me, I'm trading Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, and I'm trying to go get a wing or something, or trying to get another key player. Because that would get you basically $18 million. If you could go get, let's say you could go get Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott. If you could do that and make that happen, give up some other assets or whatever, maybe give up a couple pick swaps and, say 2 seconds or 3 seconds, something like that, and go get them. I mean, I'm all for that. Let's do that. But if I'm being honest, it'll probably be just Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. And then they'll probably leave it at that. And then that will basically be our team. We'll trade Russell Westbrook for Buddy Hield, Myles Turner. Matt Ryan probably gets waived unless, they add, say Damian Jones or something to the deal. That could be something the Lakers could be asking for. say, hey, we'll give you both first, but we want you to take Damian Jones, because Damian Jones could opt into his contract next year, and he's been terrible for them. And if you get Myles Turner, you don't really need Damian Jones. So maybe that's kind of the agreement, like, hey, we'll give you both first, but you're taking Russell Westbrook and you're taking Damian Jones. But I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, don't get your hopes up too high. But this is very interesting. Very interesting. And hopefully we wake up tomorrow and, the Pacers deal is done. We'll see. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that this is a sign that it's coming? Do you think, no, it's just a coincidence, he's probably going for somewhere else? I mean, I'm sure we'll find out why he went to, if it isn't for a trade, I'm sure we'll find out what it is eventually. But it is just pretty interesting. But again, love your thoughts, opinions, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know down in the comment section below.